I am not sure if you can check with me. I am going live on YouTube. So if you can migrate to YouTube and confirm me that you can see me, I will appreciate that. However, you can all hear me loud and clear there, right? All right, that's it. Since you can all hear me loud and clear, so we can proceed, right? Okay, now as we've discussed earlier, yesterday, that I am looking to go long on gold, yeah, which is XAUUSD. I'm on H1 today, and we had some forecast in the past as well that I did mention. So before I dive into gold properly, I want to go back to one of the message I shared in the Discord, and that was on Friday about some pairs price target zone that I think we should be anticipating. Now, starting from GBP USD. So I did mention on Friday that we had a NFP fundamental, yes, and my expectation is that if GBP USD sell, and the target should be 127.99. But the good part is that GBP USD never comes down. Yet there is still probability that we have CPI coming up in the next few minutes or so. So GBP USD can still use that opportunity. So those of you that are longing, yes, there is opportunity to continue to buy to the upside. Yet you should be getting ready to make sure your stop loss is break even or close part profit if you can, or close your trade and wait for the next opportunity. That is, if GBP USD comes down, expect that you can get a drop to the downside, and of course you want to buy from that low price. So therefore 127 is a very potential price zone for GBP USD that you want to consider. So I'm going to put that in 127.99. Okay, so that is one. Now the number two here is GBP AUD. Excuse me. So GBP AUD, I am expecting that GBP AUD should drop. I did also emphasize last week about GBP USD, GBP itself being a strong pair. So but GBP AUD is around the territory we should be expecting sell. Now I am referring to swing and long term or position trading. I am not talking about intraday. However, as I've mentioned earlier in some of the sessions I did, emphasize on when you see changes in characters, or you can easily exit and look for another entry or wait for price to reset itself. Yeah. So GBP AUD, I did mention that the sell target is 22 is 202 and 70. So that price zone, that is where we are. So that is, if you're looking to sell, you should be looking to sell towards that level. And currently we are around that level of sell territory. Okay. And the expectation now is to look for how we can get that sell trade. But of course, don't be fooled by the tricks that the price is about to play. Now, the other asset that I did mention is GBP card. I said GBP card induction range, and so when I moved to my GBP card, and last week GBP card was around this area zone, and my expectation is that we may get a sell trade instantly from that area, but price choose to advance to the upside, of course. Now if you notice this very movement that we have here, price has been wanting to break it and finally broke it. And as you can see, I'm sure you understand this concept that I did mention in the past, right? You can see multiple of them, although that does not guarantee that how far the sell will go, but it is a sentiment to where we should be expecting. Yet there are other confluences that we can also consider. But what I'm looking at here is to apply that potential sell is at on Friday, price was around this territory. So potential sell was at 184.92, 184.92, and we are looking for a target of 182, sorry, 18430. So 18430. No, okay, that is the area of the entries cells that I am considering. Okay, and our sell would be, our sell target should be around 182, I believe, or so. Yeah, I think so. 18220. Good. Yeah, that's our target there for sell trade GBP card. Now, remind you, if you want to drop questions, you can always drop it in Discord. Okay. Yeah. That is for GBP card. Yet we also have other so that we mentioned about an USD card, which I am more interested in I've emphasized on USDCAD recently several times, isn't it? And in fact, I did instruct some traders that it is time to put their pending orders in for USDCAD. So with that being said, USDCAD was here last week. So specifically, I am going to analyze, not analyze, but describe what I mentioned with. I said USDCAD is definitely a sell. So me referring to that, I'm sure those of you that understand my concept know what I'm talking about. And but USD is in a search for more sellers. So if USDCAD rallies toward upside, my limit order will be waiting at 14485. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. So 14485 is upside. Yeah, 14485, and that was Friday zone. And there you go. Look at that. Price did what? Hit that zone, and look at what price did. Price push back. Now, if you understand the concept of REIM, then you will understand that what the market did here is for what I mentioned to you all last year, October. I said market would do similar things like this and would. Now, of course, not every time I will catch this kind of move, and that is why sometimes when I share them for the purpose of you can take advantage of them. And if you cannot, I understand. It's just same like me, you know. But whenever you have the opportunity, they are just bonus to your, strategy or to what you normally trade. So having said that, this triggered. So this morning I have some serious situations that I need to attend to, which was being paying my attention. So while I was waiting, I checked my phone. I saw this move, Europe session, right? This one here, which is similar to this big one here. So I took that move for another sell trade. Now I am okay to close this trade if I want to, as I don't really need that much of pips to the downside. As some of you know already, I'm in USDCAD for a couple of months now already. But knowing that the market is about to do this is a good thing. Now it's okay if price will push higher, but I was just interested in USDCAD itself, and so that's why I emphasized on that, and I did specifically because I actually saw that this is gonna happen not like once in a lifetime, but occasionally you get to see this move and it's about to happen right in front of you. So sometimes some traders can stay a couple of days awake just for this kind of move, and only for them to jump on and close their trade in massive huge wins. Yeah, so regardless what the fundamental wants to do next, because the market knows already what is at stake. Yeah, anyway, now that we have this move here and price has hit our entry target, yes, price can still push back to the upside and try to, how market likes to do those kind of funny things. Yeah, so you should understand that it's either you hold on to your trade, you let it come back in, or you exit from the trade where you are, or you break even, or you look for continuation. But situation like this, sometimes you could get a huge push to the downside, and that will leave you with a false entry because the market would have moved hugely. Yet, if you have enough, so that's why I always make sure that I emphasize on my disclaimer that even though I understand, even though I have assurance of what I'm talking about, it is because of my proof of concept, BRC, how I trade, with a combination of freestyle method. Yet, even though there is a loss, there is still always a winner. But I am not emphasizing that every day is always a winner. But at the end of the day, the whole point is that we will always scale up. So therefore, you should be ready to, you should be willing to um, um, risk only what you can afford to lose. So it is very important to read the disclaimer below or in this comment. As I move forward, now looking at that, my limit order will be at the price that we mentioned. If USD CAD hit 143.40, yeah, that was on Friday here. Okay, I said Friday was here. I said if price hit 143, now let's put the number in there. Let's see where we are. Okay, I'm gonna do this for now. And so I want you to pay attention to how 143.40. So then this target is entry target is 14485. For those of you that this is your first time listening to this video, should you want to understand this more, you can always log into Discord by the link below and check all my work. And if you're not satisfied with that, you can always reach out and someone will attend to you to understand how the proof of BRC concept works, combination with the freestyle method. All right. Now, in that case, Friday was here. We saw price push towards here. Look at that, traders. And what did we saw? We saw price move above it. Now we saw price stayed above it. Yep. And what did I say? I said if USDCAD hit 14340, which is right here, market current market short-term seller wait around the price. Okay, they wait there, but of course the market was stronger than the seller, so price pushes above it. So therefore, as long as there is no entry for sell trade, you know what probably what your strategy is you're looking for, you haven't found it yet, so you should have got into that trade. But here, that would have been another good entry to probably jump on. Or maybe you could have looked at maybe lower time frame to look for opportunity. And if you haven't, well, there is something that may suit you to think maybe it's time for me to jump on or not. So there is always the aggressive, moderate, and conservative entry for every traders. So it's just how you exercise enough patience for that. Now, EURCHF, I did mention that let me type this out there. I mentioned sell sell entry, swing sell entry. That's what I said. Of course, EURCHF, I did mention that price could be coming lower, but of course, I was suspecting that price may want to just push up without going lower and lower. And you remember I sent a signal for a buy trade and I asked us to close it. It's because of the fundamental coming. And of course, if you left it, and probably it will be in your way. But the point is that some traders understand the concept that if price should return to our entry, then maybe I should jump back in without my instruction. But at this point of time, price have hit our break-even point, but I will not count it as a signal any longer because we cancelled that trade. But did I jump back in? Of course, I did jump back in into that trade. That EURCHF mid negative, still time to close position and wait for EURCHF to dip to 9600. I said 9600. Oh, dip to 0.9600. I'm not sure. I think I meant, probably I meant 9400 or so. So there is a dip to yeah, I think there is an error here that I might have because price was here and 96. Yeah, so there was an error with EURCHF. So I don't think no one asked me this question, so I believe you um, did not get that. And 94.04 so I did mention two price 96. Probably I meant deep between 96 and 94, so that was a typo error there. But anyway, so here we're still on Friday, and let's put in 94. Let's see, 94 05. So I was hoping that price would dip to lower here for a spike, but price did not. I think because of what happened last week, which if you remember, we got in a buy trade and price kept declining, and I said change of character. It's better we just get out of the trade, and price just suddenly move. Yeah. So therefore, and now price doesn't want to retest that zone. However, this is fundamental coming up soon, CPI. Let's see if price will choose to come down. But I'm saying that we don't need price to hit 94.50 now. We want price to come down below at least last week low, and from there we can start looking for a new entry, because what will happen is that price might suddenly reverse to the upside at some point, not immediately. So EURCHF, so where strong buyers prefer to jump back in. Yep. So that is the price, the 94.05. So knowing this, and now we did mention about NZDUSD last week. We did mention about GBP-USD. We did mention about multiple pairs. So the fundamental, I think we had the fundamental already just now. So I will now go to gold. But before I go that, I emphasize on NAS 100 yesterday, and US 30 and some others that I did mention earlier this year that we'll be seeing a massive sell on NAS 100 and US 30. And there we go now. Yes, I regret getting into this trade. Yeah, I regret getting into that due to some distraction, but I was able to get into. So now my focus is now on JPYs as well, as I know that I am satisfied with the trade I have for all these USD spares. Yeah, so I'm looking at the possibility of price going in my favor to the upside, of course, as a long term. Yet intradays are also being considered as well. So let's go back to gold. Now we have the fundamental, and I said I wanted to jump into gold. So yesterday we jumped into a buy trade after we saw price pushes to the upside. Was it buy trade first? Yeah, buy trade. And on a 15 minutes time frame, I saw that price close above this zone here on 15 minutes with a nice setup. Yet, of course, as you can see, price went back and retested the Europe opened, and on 30 minutes we get a pin bar that eventually gave us an engulfing and close above the region. Yet on a 30 minutes time frame, this now become a distribution phase, accumulation phase, that eventually break out, close above the range but never close below. I emphasize on those parameters. So that you know, those of you that just joined, I'm still on Discord, so if you have any question, you can type it there. It's much easier for me like that. Okay, let's proceed. And now that we are here, and so I did jump on a sell trade yesterday, and after we saw price on 5-15 minutes, it was 5 minutes time frame, we saw price declining below, and I'm hoping that price will go down. Although there was something I think I did not do, or maybe I did, the channel. I did not apply the channel yesterday. Maybe if I have applied it, I might have considered some circumstances here that there will be a retest and I want to take the continuation, but I chooses not to because we are hoping that price will push down suddenly and it will reverse back. So we just want to get into the aggressive. But I did also mention that this price action is going to be accumulation, and after is going to be distribution, or distribution and after is going to be accumulation. So therefore I was already expecting that this could be a false entry, but of course we can only give it what it is. So that is why we have percentage lot stop loss that we are taking risk in, so that for if we are wrong, we are able to jump off. But at the end of the day, we're able to close the trade at 0.03% loss, and the second trade was closed at 0.25 loss, okay, percent loss. Therefore, the third trade, I was trying to take it as a description of what I would do and as I'm manipulating my stop loss, but I eventually closed it as I didn't get a response at that moment. Therefore, we went for now I went for a sell that, okay, that stop loss was hit, and now we took a buy trade yesterday, and after session I saw something, so I took my second trade, which I already mentioned that I'll be taking that approach. Overall, we are here today, and price accumulated throughout yesterday, and now we are here. Now this phase is expected to push in our favor. However, price can suddenly push back just for the sake of distraction and then push back up. But we don't want to take it for what it is. The point is that the price is making higher lows, okay, higher lows, and then is making higher highs as well. So my expectation is that we're going to get a buy trade to the upside. Now if price should come down, I am only risking 1.5%, which is my maximum loss that I want to take per trade. So overall, I know that I'll be risk, but at the same time, I expect this trade should land me with 5%, and another trade I am looking at 3% gain. So which means I am okay for the rest of the week if this trade goes my way. So I don't have to add any position into this trade because I am in this trade right now. And if any trade goes funny now, I will wait for price to come back here to the upside because I know we are in a critical level. However, back to the forecast I mentioned last week, I also mentioned that we have gold entry at I hope you all are following me, traders. You can put it in Discord, those of you that can access that. So I also mentioned that gold, I am looking at price target that watch 29.05 for further dip or reversal. Okay, for gold, I said watch 29.05. And where was Friday? So Friday was actually somewhere here, Friday, and I am going to place my line there, and I'll put in the price and let's see what we get. 29.05. So 29.05 is right here. That I said again, watch 29.05 for further dip or reversal. And if you notice what we had a nice breakout. If you see any confluences based on your strategy, especially when we talk about BRC, maybe we will have looked at this 1, 2, 3, yeah, and then boom, we broke out from it. We ranged outside that, and then we did what? We closed up below almost all the lines, and that will have landed us in a good, nice profit. However, if we choose not to take that trade, and so what would have happened is that we will have waited like me, been waiting and waiting. So what we will have done is that I said, what was the other price zone I mentioned? That and further sell target is 28.68. So I mentioned that 28.68 is our further sell target. 28.68. Now 28.68 is not far away, but price did not hit that target, and look at what we saw. So I mentioned to you the trader that was mentioning to me, traders about selling gold and stuff, and I wasn't um, inclined with such analysis, but yet I still mentioned that it is likely, yes, opportunity like that can arrive. But overall, I also mentioned about yesterday the analysis that we have in the market. I'm still leaning on a buy trade for gold, although I am not much interested in gold as I would be. So I am looking more on palladium and platinum, right? However, USDCAD. There are some other pairs, so I do want to share because it wouldn't be fair to my client that I'm distributing these to the socials while they are subscribed. So yet to update UK 100, we are still in UK 100, and if you notice that we're able to lock some profit while we entered in the past from this area. We waited for a couple of months, and before, some of you might not be able to do that style because it might not be your style, but sometimes it's worth waiting for instead of jumping in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And now price has retested, so it is ready for another push to the upside. So if you miss the opportunity from here, I think it is time for you to start looking at UK 100 for another push to the upside. All right, so going forward, we're back to XAUUSD here. So today, I am expecting that we may get the buy trade to the upside, but of course, the accumulation is spreading all over. So should you have question, please, I want you to put it out there in the Discord a live session, or you can put it in the chat and someone might be able to help me post it here and I'll be able to see your question. So going forward, I will repeat that I am looking at a buy trade and I am considering 3% profit target and 5% profit target from this area of concept of entry. Yet, one-hour time frame, it's staying above where I consider to be value area from yesterday I mentioned, right? If you can see that, that line, I did mention about that yesterday. And I did mention about here as well yesterday. Now, you saw me picking that price yesterday, and look at that. Since yesterday, price stood above it since yesterday. Price stood above it since yesterday. So I am saying that when you are swinging trades and you have positions like this executed, and you can look for signs of why you should be holding your trade still. So for those of you that ask me several times that, how do you know that price is about to reverse? Of course, as time goes on, you'll be having, I'll be sharing different method, but today I will share with you that as an example of a real life scenario, because you know that I prefer to use real life scenario so that you can see it yourself and understand that, oh yeah. So this concept here versus EURCHF that we mentioned last week. EURCHF, I did said, here I did mention that, change of character, things have changed. I do not see the reason why price did that, but of course there's always a reason. And I'm not interested in the reason any longer. I'm just interested in exiting the trade. But I know for sure that we are still going long. But because of my intraday, my short-term swing, I'm expecting buy trade, and there's no point me leaving that trade. But for my long time, of course, I'm still in that trade to the upside. So comparing to XAUUSD gold, which you can see that XAUUSD stood still around that same zone since yesterday. Let me hide my order so that we can see the pro. Okay, look at that. Price stood still above that zone since yesterday, here and here. And even on 30 minutes time frame, I haven't seen any price that choose to close below that zone since yesterday. Of course, on 15 minutes, we've been having some trouble making, and that was just this one only, which might have been some sort of, some trader will call it manipulation price. But whatever we call it, is part of why we should always make sure that we have parameter of loss that we are willing to risk. And therefore, price has been trading between here. Now, if price chooses to come down, I will consider it as what, for myself, I will consider it as a correction of yesterday. But of course, you can see that this price came down with a wick and then pushes back up and close as a pin bar type, and so we might have corrected that move from yesterday, and now we are here now. Now, market could be waiting for a lot of traders to be going down as a sell trade, and therefore price could use the approach to push back up. So in that sense, I am not wrong with my entry, but it's because a lot of traders could have seen other confluences or reasons why they should be longing, or maybe due to the fundamental reason, or maybe the fundamental is actually a bullish fundamental, and the market saw the reason why it shouldn't be in the market favor on them, so they prefer to hold the trade, push it down a little bit for trader to look for, oh, probably we had a breakout, right? Maybe it's just a retest, we're gonna go sell, and suddenly price push back up. But market does have time to wait for the next opportunity and the next opportunity. But we as a trader, we don't have that patience to wait. So therefore, we can use this concept by looking at, okay, shall I shut my trade down or not? Okay, I'm seeing this price has been reluctant to close below. There is no point. Okay, let me still hold on to my trade. Now, if the price chooses to close to my to close below, that doesn't still mean that I can get, because I have this type of concept here on my 15-minute time frame. All right, this very one here doesn't mean that I cannot have it on 4-hour time frame as well. But it is how close my stop loss is will determine if my stop loss will hit or not. So therefore you should understand that it is likely that we should be going bullish with this price action that we have here. So we want to go bullish, yeah, and we want to get a retest, and possibly we can now look for a continuation buy to the upside here. So let's keep it real, let's keep it steady for XAUUSD. So should you have questions, let me know. Now the second part is that if the price now chooses to come down, I'll prefer to hit my stop loss, because that is what I'm willing to lose. But I don't want to hard onto my trade. Why? Because the market doesn't look interesting right now. So that is why sometimes my intraday, I can convert it to swing, but still my stop loss is still in the same what parameter, either intraday or swing. So that is, I can still trade as many entries as possible and still have the same risk per trades. So now that I understand the direction of the market, of what I'm expecting, so I'm hoping that price will now go in my favor. And if price chooses, like I mentioned, it is fine based on the value that we are willing to lose. Now, taking away from here, we will now go to silver. So I did mention about silver yesterday, that I'm still in a position for silver. Okay, and so so I left this line here from yesterday regarding the entries that I did enter my trade, and currently it is in favor that we're able to close some part profits some time ago, and we're able to jump on new trade as well, and both are running in good condition. I also mentioned about gold as well, that there was an entry around this territory, I believe, also, that we jumped on some time ago. No, it wasn't. I think I'm not sure if I identified that, but which is possibly going to be in a favor. But I am looking to close those, shut those trades down as soon as possible. Now let's dive into other assets here, and let's see where we are at. Let's start from let's navigate through the market itself, and let's see where we are at. Let's use daily time frame to quickly have a picture of what the market is doing, and then we can take that let's go back. Okay, yeah, this very one here, NZDJPY, it's a is another pair that needs to be considered as a potential. I think there was an asset as well. There was an asset I did mention last week that we haven't talked about. I did not talk about. Yeah. Mm. Okay, there was NZDJPY. Yeah, I knew there was a pair, and the other ones I think I mentioned it to my client, so I did not mention it here. But it was AUDUSD I mentioned, and some others said that I wanted to come down, which actually came down early this week to the downside, which probably had we did activated some of my entries that I call out. But NZDJPY itself, I did mention that strong sellers at 84.77. I said strong seller at 84.77. And so where is 84.77? Right here, somewhere here. That's where we are at right now. And weak seller at 85.46. Now pay attention to that. This is where things now get a bit like strong sellers, but price did not sell. So 84.77. There you go. Price hit it. I'm gonna put it to Friday. It was Friday when I sent this out. Yeah, price came close it, but did not reach it. And okay. Now, if you notice on Friday, you can see how price approaches that territory on Friday, and yet almost and trigger a sell to the downside. Yeah, and so which is good. Now, those of you that have heard me before, you remember the concept that I mentioned. I say that if price doesn't hit your target properly, I'm sure you know the if it comes back to read next, you know the answer to that, right? Yeah. So that is what happened now, as you can see. So understanding the concept that if price doesn't trigger me, I think I need to take out a penny order. This is not right. Yeah. Market and especially understand that. So this is something that I've said 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I've said it, in fact, 1 year ago. Although some of you just joining in, but I want you to understand that the more you cannot miss out. If you miss out, go back and watch videos if you can, and if it's been uploaded, if not. But those little nuggets can save you sometimes a lot. Maybe not now, maybe in the future when you're not trading big time. Okay, so in that way it is okay for me to see this situation like this and quickly shut my trade down if I'm aware of it. But anyway, we are here now. The second entry I did mention is around here, and I said weak seller, right? NZDJPY. Now let's find out 85.46. Yeah, 85.46 is right here, and there we go. So now we are in between what? We're in between where sellers can take over the price. You understand? So that is here, if price now start forming, let's say something like this, it gives you an idea of there you go, dominance, right? And you can tell that okay, this is about to happen big time. All right, let me look for my confluence entry. Or if price start to give sort of a pattern formation between this zone, that give you an edge. Now, if price also chooses to give you some psychology price action, still you still want to consider and apply your concept. So which means it's either you hands off and wait, or you shift to 5 minutes time frame and look for short-term opportunities only, but knowing that you are now in a territory where the sellers can take over. Because regardless, we have a strong sellers here. Now imagine all the sellers from this price zone that I mentioned have now shifted to the upside, or we are the bulls are not in their territory, so this is what can happen. So pay attention to that, traders, and take advantage of that if you can. However, some trader will also say that, but there is an inverted head and shoulders here. Yeah, there is an inverted head and shoulders, but if you also notice the inverted head and shoulders, tell me that the inverted head and shoulders price is not trading within, and price haven't. So which means price has the privilege of hitting this territory, okay? And price still have the uh, um, uh, desire to hit this target, fine. But yet we are still where? In the territory of the seller. So which means this price is not safe. So it is only about time to determine what the market wants to do. So there goes some other assets as well. Now, I did mention in the past about EURCHF. It is time to start looking at EURCHF as a sell trade, in fact, as a long term. But I am not satisfied with the entry that I have right now. Okay, where it is right now, I am not satisfied, even though, or maybe I haven't looked at it properly. Maybe that is what I would consider. Maybe if I look at it and stare at it properly, maybe I will see something. But one thing I know is that I do want EURCHF to push higher than this previous high here. And the reason is because that my previous target from last year did not hit properly. Did not hit properly for this pullback, even though it did hit one of the target, but above it, I did want price to come above it. But if price is strong enough to do that, I'm not sure. So instead, it's likely that we might get an aggressive sell to the downside. So this move today that you see might be a sign of why we should be looking at sell trade. Now, the market still needs some confluences, but I'm not sure if the market does have enough uh, sentiment. For example, we have the Canada and the US having a trade war, and conclusively, I believe they will resolve their issue. But being Canada having a new prime minister, um, it's also another reasons why we should be considering. We don't know how this person behaves, so that can also trigger some reasons why President Trump himself can also take some um, opinion that might really trigger the USD volatility or its sentiment based on we're expecting that dollar will be dropping. Yeah. Overall, that does not mean that other assets might not be in a favor, but I'm saying that the USD CAD can be in a potential of ranging in between this territory since election time. Okay, yet it is also a sign of a long-term sell, or but which has also positioned itself for a long-term ranging as well. So, but that does not mean that we don't have opportunities for short-term swing. We do, but it is how much we are able to. Then we can now, advance um, our target as the market continue to be in our favor. So now going to the index market. So here I did mention about where is it again? NAS 100, yeah, being in our favor. So then we had US 30 as well that we'd mentioned, and price has been trading to the downside. So I'm interested in looking at this asset as well, because I do want to see some retest to the upside. But the pressure that the market is having right now, especially with the index market, especially with the stock market, I think it is really, really concerning. So the index market can suffer a bit of aggressive sell to the downside. So I want us to be aware of that. So therefore, we need to be ready for what the market is about to throw at us with the index market. So for those of you that trade the index market, you should understand that it's either you continue to see movement like this, yeah. So it's either you continue to see movement like this to the downside continuously, or it is likely that the market would somehow at some point fake you. So I am saying that even though those of you that might have jumped in a long-term sell at some point, when I mentioned that likely that we will be looking at the sell trade, I think it is also time for you to consider um, um, moving your trail and allow the price to continue to go in your favor. But if you're using an intraday sentiment, you only don't get trapped in that trade, and don't leave your trade to run overnight if you're trading intraday, as the market, yes, could be in favor, but it is at risk of a retest to the upside currently. So and it could do that at any time, and so you don't want to fall for it, traders. You don't want to fall for it. Yeah. So that's just one of those that I am looking at now. So I also mentioned, yeah, there is this very asset that I mentioned yesterday. Of course, I did mention about palladium and platinum, right? But there is this one that I did not mention, and it is oil. Okay. So when I left the session yesterday, I was like, that was the one I wanted to mention that I forgot. But I said, okay, I will leave it to today, but somehow I'm carried away again. But so oil is another entry that I think you should consider jumping in. Well, I cannot say when, but I can tell you probably as from today that, so it's up to you when you like to jump in. I like to jump in aggressive, of course, and so therefore, and we've waited for this for a while. I'm sure you all remember at some point last year when we jumped in between these areas here. There was a couple of nice pips that was being executed as well. Not like we did not take a nice approach, but we did make some money from it. But at the same time, we're expecting last year as well. We did mention about a trade to the upside based on we sent out in the forecast, and which actually went a big move. And I think market reverses for some reason. I'm not sure why, and market declined further to the downside. In hope that, and now that we have this movement here, I'm expecting that oil will now start pushing to the upside. So as of today, I would say that we should look into oil trading to the upside for those of you that can. Yeah. So um, so in response to what I did mention about gold yesterday as well, that gold has gotten to a territory where, you know, a lot of investors might be pulling out of gold because, you know, we have oil there, we have platinum, we have palladium there that seems to be cheaper. So therefore, gold might be struggling to push up. Yeah, and so that is why I repeatedly discuss about, okay, maybe it is time for you to understand that um, this gold is there, but don't, or silver is there, but don't feel like they are the best, especially those of you that diversify. Okay, I'm talking about diversifying here. So should you do that, yes, you can consider um, looking at oil versus what I said. The main point is for us to progress, to have some consistencies. So that's for that. Yeah. Now we move on to the next assets that or to my conclusions for the day. So if you have questions, you know, you still have time to put it in the chat so we can discuss it. So I want you to understand that next week, yeah, we will be doing the 24 hours trading. So I would be going through some concept and on my own, and of course, if you're in, I'll be trading multiple pairs for that day. I am going to be trading based on my own time, so therefore you need to look into your time, and but it's still going to be based on the time that we shared. It is possible that you will have a notification from YouTube that we're going to start, but 60% of the day it is likely that I will be muted, and if I am speaking, it's because I can at that moment. So I would like to, you know, recap overall how my concept of so let's go to major market here, and which is where is it again? So let's use EURUSD for an example. Say we have the market itself, and I will be using multi-time frames to trade, and my target will be different, my exiting target, but it is likely that my stop loss will remain possibly the same area. It is likely. So I will be looking at multiple pairs and I'll be looking at the one that seems to be extreme. I'll be doing that. And when some of you understand the concept of freestyle using multiple as patterns and stuff, but also we can use the concept of pivot volume, which is the high, lows, and close price to determine where we should be, executing our trade from. So, and another one is using the Asia, Europe sessions, high or lows, opening sessions, and using patterns and using, well, I mentioned gaps and for me a little bit of imbalance. So I prefer equilibrium, even though they sometimes always align with each other's. Yeah. So which some of you but I also use HVG. Now, mind you, for those that are listening, I have my own concept of HVG, which is kind of a gap, kind of a structure way. So I don't want you to mistaken that for, um, um, I think, a fair value gap that some of you always mentioned, which is imbalance. So therefore, using that structural based movement, it allows me to grasp opportunity, because I know that all those I mentioned are value areas. And so one of them could occur, and some of them could be on a 4-hour time frame, and sometimes it could be a daily time frame, and sometimes it could be 15 time frame. It depends on what the market is looking at. And so I want you to understand that I am paying attention, and based on what the market will be doing, and that is why most likely I'll be muted and be navigating many pairs as possible. And I'm not expecting those trades to go my way immediately. You know that already, how I normally do that. I do just want to get enter at my exact entry. So majority I'll be analyzing and I'll be setting a lot. So as soon as my entry reaches, I am just going to execute. So sometimes if you just jump back into the trade, into the call, you may not understand why I jump in. You may not understand why, because you just saw my alert pop up and I just jump on. But it's because I've analyzed and I just set my alert and I want price to come there and it triggers me and I'll jump on. And if I don't see the reason why I wouldn't. So so my own concept is that I prefer to prepare ahead. So using that, I'm using price formations as well. And so overall, I'll be having my 1, 2, 3 formations that I'll be using the pivot, I'll be using volume, and I'll be using price pattern to execute my trade for each day. So my pivot can now be in a different way, or um, my way of looking at the volume might be in a different way, which of course we refer as a freestyle trading. So one of the concepts is using just a narrow trend lines. So in this way, I'm having a narrow trend line. As you can see, this trend line, this channel is quite narrowed. Yep, versus here that says that the is quite, you can see the range is quite high. So knowing this here, I'm saying there's a lot of transaction that was being placed there, but here there was a quiet transaction that was being placed there. So in that reason, I could tell that maybe it is time for market to move in a huge move. However, if this is leaving the market, let's say we are now here and I saw price moving to the upside, it is likely that we're going to be having a huge move. For example, gold, today. If you look at it overall, when we look at it from yesterday versus today, just here only, and in fact, I can do it this way. Yeah, so here only. Now, if you look at it, it looks like it's wider, but when I look at where price was being traded overall only, it is narrowed. Okay, so using that same concept shows me that it is likely that today we're going to be having a big move in the market, because the market, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but as long as price, but right now it keep expanding itself, yeah, it keep expanding itself, and which is kind of another sign. But the way gold has opened will determine, of course, the fundamental that happens today can change the course of it, but yet the direction, that's why we have percentage stop loss. Now, to answer your question based on what I'm describing here, does this reduce gold trading activity mean that one should look at a bearish sell? Well, to your perspective, if you want to look for a bearish sell, you can, but the question is that what I would like to say is that gold haven't left that same zone from yesterday. Okay, even gold it drops just now, it does not mean, and I did emphasize earlier in this session that even though gold dropped, that does not mean that it's a sell yet, because what happened on 15 minutes yesterday haven't happened on 30 minutes, and we may be expecting such can happen. But although I do see that we had a pin price retested already, yeah, and price can also give us, and I already gave many reasons already earlier this session, right? That could be happening that will generate a sell, but that does not confirm a sell yet. Yeah, that does not confirm a sell yet. Yet, if you look into 5 minutes time frame, you may see opportunity of a sell trade. It depends on when you want to get out of the trade that determines. For example, this move here, that was a sell trade that we've gotten, but I am not interested in such move except if I'm really scalping. Some might want to use 1 minute time frame, but so it's not suitable for me, this kind of entry. So which means there is no entry yet. Price is still trading within. Okay, so therefore you want to wait for price to get out of this box that we have here, rectangle box. Yeah, so it is like price is coming back to test yesterday again and to see if there is any reason to hold that trade. But currently, as you can see for yourself, the market keep refusing. Although this one now haven't closed yet, but when you look at 30 minutes, already price refuses. Yeah, it looks like, oh, look at that, price just closed below, right? But when you look at the whole scenario itself, you can see that there's no confirmation yet. So we need 1 hour to also close. Yet 1 hour can still be a sign. Why? Because on our 4 hour time frame overall, we will now consider. So if price should 4 hours should shoot below, maybe we can start considering why we should be okay exiting our trade and wait for. But you know how market works sometimes, only for the next candles to give you a nice huge engulfing to the upside, just for you to get out of the trade. And why some traders will see sell trade and they will jump into trade. So all this have been emphasized. I repeated again and again. So I am discussing this all because I know some of traders would end up acting or looking at possibility of, and that's what market wants us to do, to distract you from what actually is the plan. So we want to take advantage of that by waiting. Yes, um, You were going through notes from way back and saw notes for scalping on H4 time frame. Will that be just considering intraday? I have described that several times in the past as well, that you can scalp on higher time frame, you can scalp on lower time frame. It is up to how you want to. So how does this work out? Do you want me to repeat that, or you want me to go through that little bit of explanation again? Well, that is another reason why you should understand that only when you see confluences around your own time frame is when you should. And in the past as well, I gave traders logics of how you can use other brokers confluences to determine your time frame. So that can also play part as well. Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. 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 If you're confused, that's fine. So um looking at um, um, what we have here. So we still have enough time to break this down um, um, to a bit of understanding. So the situation we have here for most traders is that when you look at this scenario here, majority of the time, um, most traders will look at 5 minutes time frame, which is fine. However, looking at that, some confluences will have come in, and imagine a 5 minute trader that is targeting a very long target. That does not mean that it's not possible, but the concept we're using might not allow us to do that. And so you end up having price to reverse. So days like these, I have seen, or let me say I have heard, well, I have been in that situation as well, that most traders will jump in, say, oh, this is selling, and price will reverse, and this type of days, whereas that trader already make nice gains from here, and from here the market would almost collect all the gains they took from this upside move back from just here only. Well, you haven't even, it's like I am in your mind, right? You haven't even posted this on when I was talking about 1 minute, and just right now you just post this. So which is a confirmation that I think I am in your mind based on the question you've asked, because I have been asked similar question that you asked me, and which turns out to be something that is similar to what I'm talking about was in that trader's mind. So when you ask, it triggers my attention to the past of the question I've been asked. So that is why I'm going in there and talk about it, because it may be relating to, and I'm glad to hear that it's actually relating to what you're actually talking about now. Yeah, so me going forward, yes, you can use 4 hours to scalp. In fact, like I said to you all before, there are some traders well, I don't know them like face to face. Probably they don't know me face to face, but I've heard some traders use 4 hours. But there are some traders, of course, that I have shared knowledge with in the past, that they can't help themselves other than to just trade on 4 hour time frame because of their work. And some trade on daily time frame, and they scalp on them. But the type of scalping they do is that you are looking at, oh my God, 5 minutes time frame, in and out. Or let me even rephrase this. There was a question that was asked, and this question, it wasn't me, it was a trader that I knew very well. And this trader, I he approached me, and he wanted a strategy, so he was struggling with it. And so we went into a bit of um, learning curve. So I was showing him some ways. Anyway, he was able to craft this strategy at some point later, sometime. So he invited me to the community to pay attention to people's comments, and just to have an idea if there's something that could flag something. I said, okay. Now, this trader, this trader said to me that, can you please check this? And I checked that list of comments. Now, this trader already put out the instructions, everything, whatever it is. And a trader asked the question. It is okay. This trader, they said, oh, I've been trading for years and da 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 da, and said to this gentleman and asked that, why? I saw that the screenshot that you posted, there was a signal that was generated on so day. I'm not too sure, but I can still remember the distance of the days. So it was around, let's say, 5th, okay, the screenshot, 5th. And the target was achieved around probably 11th or so. Yeah. So how does that relate to me trading in this with holding the trade for long in this concept. So the trader asked me that what should I do? Because for him it doesn't just make a no meaningful approach. You say, you understand how market works sometimes? So I said, because this person perspective is just to go into the market and be out, so therefore they don't see the reason why trades should be holding for that long, and seeing that the target is very, very narrow, and yet the trade narrowed. The trade took that long for it to hit. But this trader hasn't been in the market for that long, so they haven't experienced days like that. So I now shared a history of a trade that he was aware of. I said, remember so year when I mentioned about EURCHF, and I said, look at this entry here, and then which we're gonna jump on, but we jump on like almost the last day I'm going to be offline from the chart, which was around December 15th or something like that. Just 60 pips, the trade triggered ending of January. The trade hit TP ending of January. No stop loss hit, no TP hit. He said, yeah. I said, there you go. So imagine, but because I knew things like that, I've experienced something like that. So this trader haven't. So you just need to explain to them that scenario like this can come, especially in this occasion, or especially when fundamental is coming. Imagine this trade right now. Imagine this is 5 minutes time frame, but imagine if it was on daily time frame. Look at how many days or how many weeks it will take. And price is just ranging in between because some big event is coming up, right? So that can happen. Now, coming back to your comment, I am saying that you need to understand that there are times where you will trade in this scenario. You can jump on a 5 minute time frame. In fact, but with Forex market, 5 minute time frame can be very aggressive, and if you're not careful, you may be jumped out. Okay, because we are talking about trillion trading here, comparing to stock market, okay, which does not have the capacity of the volume that the Forex market has. So that is where sometimes you all can be mistaken. Imagine someone that is a stock trader is teaching someone that is trading Forex market. The mentality is different. Okay, well, I have tested all, right? Some of you know my history. I started with index market, trade stock market, end up with currency market. I'm trading cryptocurrency market. So overall, I've seen them all. So I understand their concept. So when I'm trading, I know how to adjust myself. But imagine someone that is well successful at stock market. Now it wants to teach trader that wants to trade or wants to explain chart. The person is trading on 5 minutes, 15 minutes time frame on stock market, and you're expecting that trader from the Forex market will become successful as you. No. Why? Because of, I'm not saying that you cannot be, but you need to understand that the pair that you're trading might not be suitable at all, because the Forex market is quite huge when we talk about movement in the 5 minutes time frame. Yeah. So, but same time, you can take advantage of 5 minutes time frame, but you need to be able to factor in your stop loss. So I would say to you that some trader will use ATR. Um, um, what do you mean by what is the difference in mentality? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Yeah, please if you can. And I don't understand, will not attribute that little to Mr. Fab, title to Mr. Fab. Okay, what's going on here? Can you please explain, because I am lost. I am I don't understand what's going on here. All right. So this concept here that I'm talking about, if you don't get it, you may not understand the approach that we're having. Yeah, so a lot of stock traders will be using ATR for stop loss, while in Forex market, that same calculation might not be in a favor. Why? Because of the way the market moves. So I've tend to understand that pips percentage could be in a favor. Why? Because of, you all know the concept that how many stop loss would it take for you when you have 1% stop loss, right? How many trades would it take? Of course, that is 100 trades. You have to lose to blow your account at 1%, everyone 1%, right? Or 1.5%, which is around 65% trade. That's 65 trades you need to take before you blow your account. But if you have that, and if you say you want pips as well, yes, depends on your lot size. Let's say 0.01 lot size, yeah, and is 0.01 lot size, and you have 1,000 balance. That means you need 100 pips stop loss for 1% loss. Yeah, so which means can you lose 100 pips even though you're trading gold? You cannot every time, and you blow the account if you stick to that same lot size. Yeah, so it is how you factor in your ratio and will determine. So even when you have 5-minute trade entries, you may still benefit. Why? Because if you jump on 5 minutes time frame, there are trades that would go your way 300 pips, which can be in your favor, and you can adjust your TP comparing to losing 100 pips every time. So all those scenarios can occur that will be in your favor. But days like this, it may not be in your favor at all. In fact, maybe you may still be hung in 2 trades. And I've showed you all several concepts that you can use to trade that buy or sell, and you'll be in that trade, and you can close the opposite trade as well. Yeah. Okay. So what is the difference between trading the mentality of stock, Forex, and stocks? Now, the stocks market, one of the mentality that it's a slow market. One. Number two, let's say, for example, let's use the US market right now. You only can trade stock market when you are awake in the morning, and it's like 9 to 5. You wake up and it closes around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Forex market, 24 hours. Yeah. So that gives you what? Flexibility. Choose which range you want to trade. Yeah. Now, second is volume. Okay. Stock markets doesn't have the amount of volume that Forex market has. So that volume is being shrink to only when the activity is happening, which is of course in the morning when the market opens. But for Forex market, the volume is distributed to 3 main sessions. Yes. Now, the volume can appreciate you during the Asia session, and you will now wait for Europe and US to get another new entry. However, Asia session will not appreciate you, but if you get your entry, only for you to wait in that trade, and Europe will appreciate you, your target or your stop or whichever. And US will come, will give you a new entry including, or both 3 sessions will give you 3 entries as well. So you have the flexibility. It depends on your strategy. Now, another reason is that if you're swinging, you have the liability that your trade could easily give you more. Why? Because most of this stock market, there's a lot of gaps, more gaps. So which means today, you may say you're going to leave your trade overnight, and the next day come big gaps, and that could affect your psychology. Why? Because price could drop back, only for you to wait, and the price will raise back up and even surpasses the gap and even give you more. But because you don't understand that, you may not. But you will get gap in the Forex market, but it's very rare on an everyday overnight market. Unlike stock market, that could be a huge one. So if you're swinging, it could really, really affect your psychology. Yet, by not saying that there is not enough gain. Now, the stock market is easy to predict, to analyze, and to gain from there. But at the same time, it's easy to manipulate. It's easy to manipulate because only one trader can easily, a rich, wealthy trader can easily manipulate stock market because of its billions. However, so which means one asset in stock could be millions only. So which means easily inject a certain amount of millions could move the market very, very easy. So that way it's easy. That's why you see most. Well, anyway, don't let us go there. Therefore, in the currency market, that can also happen, but we're talking about currency here. We're talking about, imagine you're talking about dollar. How many country runs dollar? So how many small millions do you want to put in to push the price? No. So situation like that, you get stock market get away with it. But if you understand disciplinary, stock market is the best for you. Okay. Now, if you understand patience, then Forex market is the best for you. Okay. So there are more to that, but of course, we're live on YouTube, so there's little we can discuss here. So concept like this is what Forex market become a very good chance, okay, yeah, for traders who wants to benefit from volatility. Yeah. So overall, my 4-hour time frame just closed, and we still end up closing within that same range. So probably we may get a push back up, who knows. So be aware of the big move to the upside, hopefully that is. So I want you to be aware of that, and if that's the case, and those of you that are intraday, in fact, you can look for a nice intraday trade, and this trade could range within this same concept overnight, and what you get tomorrow or Asia is that boom, the market pushes to the upside. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can use the same concept to trade in all of them. Yes, you can use the same concept to trade in all of them. The only difference is that what I mentioned earlier can affect, and you want to be aware of that. However, there are other concepts as well that you can use. But if you've been following me for a while, which you have been, you understand that every strategy wins. Okay, it is how you use them in your favor. Okay. It is how you use them in your favor. All of them does win. Sometimes you just need some tweaking. For example, all cars moves. It is how you drive them will determine how fast they would be or how lasting they would be. Yeah. All strategy wins. All right, traders, I will see you in the chart and I will leave you for today. Bye for now, traders. Bye.